not being there with friends or even like with my parents allowed me to notice more and to ask more questions. It's been a few days actually since I've come back from Budapest, but I wanted to just give a little bit of some thoughts and kind of like my idea, like my perspective and everything. Um, so I got to Budapest on a Friday evening. It was definitely like a long journey to get there on the train, just taking like using my Deutschland ticket, so just all like regional trains to the airport in Berlin. I decided to sit outside the airport like terminal. There's a little food truck for currywurst. He put so much mayo, but it's okay. Budapest. From there, I decided to take the metro and a bus to my hotel. I stayed at the A&O hostel. They have like it's like a chain of hostels that they have in cities all over Europe. I'm not sure if they have them on other continents, but definitely in Europe. My mom and I are actually going to stay at one later in October when we go to Prague, like in a double room. But I decided to do the female dorm, which was definitely new for me, but ended up being fine. This is the steepest escalator I've ever seen. Is this like doing it justice? This is like it being straight. It's like literally straight up. My first moments of the city of Budapest. By then it was almost like 10, maybe almost 11 o'clock at night, and just kind of paid attention when I was walking into the hostel and found this really awesome restaurant, which I loved. Guys, I just had, honestly, one of the best meals I've ever had in my entire life. Like, so good. These, like, chicken dumplings with a peanut sauce. And, like, I don't know if it was what this, like, things were. It was, like, herbs and, like, this peanut sauce. It's an Indian-style, like, restaurant with also momo. So good. And then it just was like, oh, let me get this chicken soup, too. And it was, like, herby and garlicky and, like, you know, when the broth is like thick, but obviously it's like soup, like, oh my God, it was so good. And the photos aren't going to do it justice. The photos won't do it any justice. It's ridiculous. And it was like $15. I'm like, I have to go back. It's first night, I'm going back. I don't even care. So good. If you go to Budapest, like, you need to go to this restaurant. I ended up actually going back later on Sunday to get this soup. Woke up on Saturday, got dressed, and kind of just walked around the city. I had made a list of things that I was interested in doing and kind of just organized them through where they are in the city. It's kind of all broken up through quarters, and so I just kind of went quarter by quarter, starting in the Jewish quarter, which is where my hostel was. Here's my outfit of the day. Let's see, this is a good spot. Stray sweaters from Zara. Nikki gave it to me when we were moving out of Syracuse. Some jeans from Stradivarius. They're perfect in like the hips and like thighs. They're way too small in the waist. Itty bitty waist. So I have a nice belt with that. And then my Samba's go-to walking sneaker. Like, and they're really cute, which is surprising. Like, you'd think that because they're super flat, stuff that they wouldn't be comfortable, but I've literally walked all around like cities now all around the world in them. My Snapchat bag and then my jacket. It's a little complicated with the jacket right now because it's technically 7 degrees Celsius, but it's sunny and I'm wearing a sweater, and I was like, okay, but last night it was so cold and I just feel like it could change any time, so I just decided to keep the jacket with me all day, and I'll just carry it, hang it around my bag like this. I really wanted to go in the Doheny Street synagogue, but it was a Saturday. I didn't think that through, and so I wasn't able to make it, and then wanted to go back on Sunday because I saw that they did a free tour, but the free tour was only if you had bought a ticket, and I just wasn't quite that invested in that experience, and also just wanted to save money, so I just kind of looked things up online. Also on Saturday, I kind of just walked around and did a little bit of window shopping, just kind of going into the stores that I thought were cool and going into just different things and just allowing my curiosity to run wild. I got this really cute like jacket kind of top at this one store, and they did a lot of like their own, like they made a lot of their own things. They had a lot of really cool cloth patterned bags and different things. It was almost kind of like the Vera Bradley style, but more authentic or like homemade, but it was really pretty, and I'm really happy with the jacket I got, and I can't wait to wear it. You gotta hold on tight. The escalators getting out are like straight. You gotta hold on tight or you will fall back and like die. I'm sitting down here at the base of the Danube River. Not sure how to say it. Beautiful. It's like cool, but the sun's out. I love it. Towards the end of Saturday, maybe around like 6 or 7, I was starting to get pretty 6, 7. Around like 6 or 7, I started to get tired, and so I went just back to the hostel and laid down for a little bit. My goal was to like talk to people in the hostel group chat and be able to go out, and that's exactly what I did. I'm leaving Fisherman's Bastion, and then here is another church behind me. It's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm gonna get a burger at a place across the street. I've been just seeing like a lot of like smash burger type places, and I want one. ended up getting added to a group chat on Instagram and randomly met these people out. Someone was just like, hey, is anyone out? And these girls were like, yeah, we're at this one bar, which was like down the street. So I walked out down the street and walked into was like, hey, where are you guys sitting? They said upstairs. And so I went upstairs and I just kind of like made slight eye contact with each of the groups that were at the tables up there in the bar, and eventually there was one that was also kind of looking for someone. I was like, hi, are you guys from the hostel? And they're like, yeah, and I introduced myself and it was great. From there we went to a ruin bar. I wanted to go to the Simpla Kurt one, but which one did we go to? I think it was called Instant Fogas or Instant something. That place was insane. I should have taken more videos and different things, but everyone's partying and having fun. I didn't want to like ruin the vibe with my camera, like especially like obviously documenting something, just like you got to read the room. But it was so interesting. It was just kind of almost like once you get in there, like a total maze, like a labyrinth for sure, which is what it said on the website. It calls it like a labyrinth, which it definitely was. There was like all these different rooms, but then with different music, but to get to all of the rooms, it was just like crazy. And like the whole idea of the ruin bar in the ruins in Budapest is super interesting to me. After World War II and then after the Soviet Union collapsed, there were all of these buildings that had once been owned by the state that hadn't been taken over, and they kind of just sat empty, potentially dilapidated for years and years. And then in the late 90s, early 2000s, people started to take over the buildings and turn them into bars and restaurants and clubs and cafes and all these different things. But the ruin bars are especially well known, kind of just like putting random furniture in there, like patchworking the walls, like doing all these different things, and it turns into this super cool space and really, really unique vibe for going out. I think it was definitely like a cool thing to go and to see. I don't know if it's like my full vibe forever, just because it's like you are walking through a hallway and it's like part of the wall is like not there and like part of the ceiling is not there, and I mean obviously the buildings like have to be relatively safe, but like I don't know, it was just like an interesting vibe. I met this really awesome girl, Daryl, who is from England, and we kind of became friends for the night and did everything. And then we left the group a little bit early and went and got pizza, and we're just talking and everything, and it was so great. She's asked me questions about the US, and I was asking her questions about the UK, and it was just really fun. Okay, I'm sitting outside the Szentendrei baths. I woke up pretty early this morning, 7:30, to come here. I thought I would spend all day here, but I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't really like it that much. I think I just had a different expectation of like what it was gonna be. Like I thought it was gonna be more of like a spa and like situation, and I saw that they had so many different baths and saunas and different things, and I thought it would be kind of like a little bit more of like the wellness like vibe, but I felt like it was definitely more of a social vibe and a bit touristy. I didn't take any videos inside or like bring my phone. I just really have the videos of the outside, and I can maybe add some from Google. I just again thought like, oh, people are going to be in their swimsuits, like no need to have my phone, let me relax and really like enjoy this time and not like video people in their swimsuits like trying to relax at the spa. That was not the common choice. Most people had their phones. I think they were even selling like the little waterproof phone like sleeve things, and I think that just goes to show you. And one other thing I'll say is I ran into some like American couple and talked with them for a while, which was really cool. Just the woman had done study abroad here in Budapest like 35 years ago, she said, and so like right after they kind of like left communism. And so she had a lot of really interesting things to say about how Budapest has changed, especially just like the introduction of billboards and having to like define what they were. And then she also just talked about just not really having like the commercialization, like not a ton of restaurants, not necessarily like definitely no McDonald's or anything like that. She actually said they got their first McDonald's like while she was on her study abroad here 35 years ago. So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, I definitely was a bit disappointed, but then when I decided to go into the outdoor pool, even though it feels quite cold, like I'm really wearing my coat right now, but it was like nice enough, and like people were in good spirits, and there was this like little like, I wouldn't somewhat of like a lazy river vibe in terms of like the flow of the water, but kind of like a whirlpool. Like remember when we were kids and you would go around the pool over again and again and again, and then it would kind of create this whirlpool, and then you would like float along it. It was like that. And people were going along it and having a good time and just laughing and everything. And that raised my spirits. And then I talked to that couple, and it was great. Sunday morning, I woke up and decided to go to the Suzenchi, I hope I'm saying that right, thermal baths. I talk a lot about that in the video already. And then walked around Heroes Square and one of the big parks and like another palace or castle over there. And I really had scheduled Sunday to be like a spa day and a relaxing day, which the baths didn't really end up being. So I went home, got like a late breakfast lunch like at an Indian restaurant that I passed when I was walking home, and ended up just taking a nap before it was time for my river cruise, which I on the Danube on the Danube River, which is so beautiful, so nice. Looking over my trip to Budapest, there's a few things that stand out. First, I think the city just wasn't quite what I was expecting going into it. Like, I think it was just so much more real and like raw and like real life than I feel like a lot of big cities that I've been to in Europe. It was definitely beautiful. There was definitely the historic piece, but I just felt like as I walked around the city and stuff, I just feel like I saw a lot more like, I don't know, like real life things, like not as many chains or like super branded items. I felt like people were just wearing like regular clothes and everyday things and just kind of being themselves, rather than like everyone being super curated and like hype beast and like all these brands and like designer bags and different things. Like I didn't really see that as much. I felt like people were very kind and nice, but not crazy expressive and like super loud or anything like that, or except at night when people would be outside along, you know, kind of the main road where all like the ruined bars and different restaurants and stuff are. Like people were out there until like 3-4 a.m., which was really cool as well, because even though it was like kind of cold and people would have their jackets on like with their drinks and stuff, it was just nice because I knew I could walk out and go get food or whatever in the middle of the night, and it was going to be, you know, safe and lots of people around and stuff like that. It was almost like when I got there on Friday, I almost like forgot how late it was when I was walking around, because you would think it's like 8 or 9 p.m. the way that everyone is just talking and the streets are filled. It was really cool. For me, it was really interesting to learn more about the ruined bars, because I did feel like that was like a common trend in the different places that I would go. I don't want it to be like a misunderstanding where I felt like things were dirty or unkept. Like it was a great city. But there was like a difference of like, you had very old buildings that you could tell had seen better days next to like beautiful new buildings that you could tell were really like cleaned up and really ornamental and really made new. And looking more into that and like the history of Budapest and of Hungary in general and just kind of this area of Europe, that was really interesting and like enlightening and opened my eyes. I did learn a lot about World War II and the Soviet Union in school, but to actually like see it and everything was interesting and very eye-opening, especially because I had been to lots of other European cities, and talking to more people as well. Like when I was at the baths, I ran into this couple and the wife had studied abroad in Budapest I think she said 35 years ago. She was there in Budapest when the first McDonald's was, you know, created. And she's like, we still don't have many chains, and there's still a lot. Of growth, and there's still a lot of differences and things happening, which I just thought was so interesting. And she was just telling me a little bit more about like the perspective and different things. And I don't want to say too much because I don't know everything, but yeah, I would say Budapest was definitely more of an eye-opening trip than I expected. I thought it would just be kind of like bopping around in a cute little city and taking photos and getting matchas, and I feel like I actually was able to really engage with the history and like the reality of the city and with people there. Not being there with friends or even like with my parents allowed me to notice more and to ask more questions and to Google a little bit more, right, and be a little bit more curious, because I'm really just interacting with the city and the stimulus that I had and not with the people that I was there with necessarily. So anyway, really, really amazing trip. I'm so excited for more. I'm really excited for more solo trips and places. I'm going to Prague later this month with my mom, but also really want to go to Vienna, and I'm trying to plan a really nice big trip for myself at the end of the season in May.